I told you how the snake became the most despised of all beasts? What, no? Aramis. It happened after Iblich, the devil, was chucked out of heaven and fell 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 and fell. For it was a long way from heaven down to the abyss. And the moment he fell, Iblich thought, I am not standing for this, for I am the most cunning, and I will get back into paradise if it is the last thing I ever do. So he started to dig into the walls upon which heaven is founded, but heaven is founded on pure basalt, stronger than pick or shovel or even hate. And Iblich said, I shall climb the walls of heaven. And he started to climb and climb and climb the walls of heaven. But the walls of heaven are founded on crystal, as high and as noble as time itself. And try as he might, Iblich, the devil, fell down. And then the devil thought, I'm going to knock, knock, knock on heaven's door. They are not going to not let me in. But he knocked and knocked on heaven's door, and no one answered. So Iblich said, well, if what strength won't do, cunning will. And he went then into the ways of the world, and he crept up to beasts and said, What would I have to give you for you to let me into heaven? But all the good beasts turned their back on him. That is until he saw Sing-Along the serpent. And Iblich the devil said, what would I have to give you, O little worm, to let you, to climb into your tooth, that I might go into heaven? And the serpent, who knew the devil had been given the right to decree what everything it ate, said, I want the right to eat the sweetest of all meats. Do you know the sweetest of all meats? Said the devil. Said the serpent. It is mankind. And the devil laughed, and the serpent laughed, and the devil climbed in to the serpent's tooth. And it was in that tooth he met Eve, from which all our sorrows come. Sometime after, the serpent was creeping up to Adam. As bereft of paradise, he dug while Eve span, for neither was then the gentleman. But just then, flying down from heaven, came the swallow. For the swallow was, as he is, the companion and friend of man. And he flew down, this most holy of birds, for he is the only bird to go on pilgrimage, flew down and shouted to Adam, watch out, 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 behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you. And Adam turned, and there was the serpent gaping wide. And Adam said, what are you doing, Mr. Serpent? And the serpent said, I'm claiming my right. I was given the right by he who gave the right to tell us what we all eat, Iblich himself. To eat the sweetest of meats, and that is mankind. But who told you? 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 Who told you that it was the sweetest of meats? Said the swallow, who had heard the original conversation, for he has fine ears. And in reply, the serpent said, Iblich told me, of course. And the swallow said, well, how do you know? How do you know that the devil, prince of deception, has not deceived you in this? And Adam scratched his head and said, yes. And the serpent and looked shifty because he couldn't know. Well, this is a pretty pickle. You may eat me if I am the sweetest of meats. Yes, you've been given the God-given right. Well, the God-given right, but it comes to the same thing. But how do we know? And the swallow said, I have an idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. We need to find something that can taste everything's blood. How about the mosquito? For that can taste everything's blood. Everything and everybody's. And Adam said, oh, that's not a bad idea. Why don't we send out the mosquito? And the swallow called on his friend, the mosquito. And the mosquito said, yeah! And was very happy to be told that they had the God-given right. The God-given right to bite everyone. Everyone in the world. Ow! Ow! That's twice. And for an entire year and a day, this mosquito flew around and bit everything. Ow! Even the angels. And at the end of it, he was flying back to Adam when the swallow flew down and said, Mr. Swallow, Mr. Swallow, Mr. Swallow, Mr. Swallow, Mr. Swallow, now you have sampled all the blood in the world. Can you tell me what is the sweetest of meats? What is the sweetest of meats? What is the sweetest of meats? And the mosquito, in reply, said, yes, of course I can tell you, of course. It's the blood and the flesh of the human. Humans are the sweetest of meats. Humans. But the swallow suddenly went deaf and said, oh, can you say that a bit louder, Mr. Mosquito? And the mosquito opened its little narrow mouth. It is the human! And its tongue vibrated. And just that moment, the swallow, with his sharp beak, bit off the tongue of the mosquito. And all the mosquito could say from that moment on was, and so it was when he flew in front of Adam a few minutes later. All he could say was, eee! When Adam asked him. But the swallow said, oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. Because you see, before he was mysteriously struck dumb, before he was mysteriously struck dumb, the swallow told me, the mosquito told me the swallow. The mosquito told me the swallow. The mosquito told me the swallow. What was the sweetest of meats? Ah, well, that is good. Can you tell us? And the swallow looked the serpent straight in the eye and said, it is the blood and the flesh of the toad. And hearing that, the serpent, knowing that he was bound by his oath to eat toads from then onwards, lurched at the swallow and split his tail in two. And from that day to this, the swallow has had a split tail. The mosquito has said merely, eee! And the serpent remains the most hated of all creatures. And now you know. And isn't it odd that one story